No. What is the primary duty of a goalkeeper?
What's the one here? This is question.
No. You see, if you go on that tangent there, if you Mamo 10, they use 4 womb, I say 6 woman. On the whole, the guy's numbers is outrageous. The season will end. The season will end 50 games. Remember, 50 games. 50 games. 50 games, then 45 goals. Because
you guys are liable.
Conversion. Oh, okay. Then
okay, let's go.
Sometimes. Hey. So should I go? All right, so this is how sometimes it goes off air when it happens off air when we are having our slight argument or debate. Probably we might throw the question to you guys. It was about whether Haaland is a good striker, he's a good player, he deserves to be mentioned amongst the great number 9s that we have seen. Probably we would talk about that. But guys, welcome to Sports 101. This is our Sports Roundup show. Every Sunday, it happens at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm here with my able-bodied man, Percy. Kofi.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening. It's been a while.
It's been a long time, but it's great we are back.
It's great we are back.
We're building up to something amazing.
Yes, it's great we are back, and we have to keep the conversation going.
Yeah.
Quality conversation. The kind of conversation that gets you off the edge of your seat. And we will probably outplay the package that we have for our viewers over the course of. We hope to do this every Sunday evening, and the good thing is that now we are choosing to add another layer of medium to our coverage. We are not just doing YouTube; we are doing Facebook Live. And so, if you do not have the luxury of logging on to YouTube, you can always join the Facebook Live feed.
Oh, we are live on Facebook right now.
Yes,
right?
we are live on Facebook.
Guys, go to our Facebook page, Sports 101 on Facebook. We are live on Facebook as well. So for those who want to stream live on Facebook, you can have access to the show. Those who also want to do YouTube, you can have access to the show. And for our guys in the diaspora, as always, keep the super stickers coming. We are doing this with you. I mean, there's no better place, Kofi, to start the show. But before then, kindly share the link. If you're on Facebook, share the link. Tell your friends that Sports 101 is live on Facebook. The like, your comment, keep it coming. We'll run through all your comments as the show goes on. We're doing this show with you. But there's no better place to start off from than the FA Cup final. I mean, I was watching the game and I kept asking myself, okay, at what point do you move on from this is a player problem to a coach problem? I mean, yes, United won. They won via penalty shootout. So it's a matter of luck when it gets to penalties. I disagree. I think that it's just like any free kick. It's an act you need to perfect it. But that's not really the crux of the conversation. Let's center the conversation around Manchester United, because, to be honest, if you're a Panther, there's no way. I mean, you would have said, okay, the game will end 3-3 and end up, on penalties. I mean, Kofi, let's look at United. What is the problem? What's wrong?
Well, good evening once again to our viewers. I'm on Facebook. Let me attempt to go back to some of the words that were spoken when Erik ten Hag was appointed as manager of Manchester United. I remember quite clearly that one of the words that Erik ten Hag consistently used had to be control. Control, I'll probably go ahead and explain that particular word that he kept using when he was appointed as manager of Manchester United. The argument was simple. If you looked at the era of Ragnick, if you looked at the era of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, there was one thing that was almost synonymous with Manchester United: a lack of control. And if you look at the very big teams in the world, or the best teams in the world today, one thing that you cannot take away from them is their ability to control the flow of the game. So they dictate where the game has to move, which direction the pendulum has to swing. If you look at Manchester United, prior to the appointment of Erik ten Hag, it was chaotic. You understand? I mean, United could not simply have a foothold on games. And so, if you look at some of the best teams in the world, when they go a goal up, when they go 2 goals up, you expect that the shop has been closed and that there's no way they are letting opponents into the game. But you look at Manchester United in the last few weeks, you look at Manchester United over the course of the last 2-3 months, and the word that Ten Hag kept speaking at his unveiling is almost seemingly coming back to haunt him. There is absolutely a lack of control about Manchester United at this material time. A lack of control. You look at games that Manchester United have played against. I do not want to bore you, but go back to that game at the Etihad when Manchester United had to score that wonderful goal by Marcus Rashford. What you do is that you do not open yourself up to City too much. Yes, we know City at the Etihad are lethal. They are dangerous. They will come at you in waves and waves. But what United did was almost amateurish. I mean, when they scored the goal, we know that there's a common cliche that when teams score goals, the first 2-3 minutes is where they lose concentration the most. And so most experienced team will close shop at that material time and then allow themselves to keep the emotions over the line. Manchester United went up gang-go against City, and what they did afterwards was a bit chaotic, and ended up they losing 3 points. I mean, go back to the game against Chelsea. Chelsea go 2 goals up. Manchester United equalizes. Manchester United get a goal in the second half, and then in the 90th minute, they are three goals to 2 up. What happened afterwards? A total lack of control. Look at Brentford. Look at all of the games. Look at Bournemouth. So I look at this afternoon, and for me, it was a bad afternoon for Erik Ten Hag because his bosses were present. I mean, there was Sir Ratcliffe in the stands. There was one of the Glazers, I think it was Joel Glazer, in the stands. And so when you are virtually having to audition in front of your bosses, you do not put in the show. I mean, some of the changes that he did. I mean, taking up Menu and bringing in all of those flurry of changes, and then United losing hold on the midfield. This is Coventry City. This is Manchester United. The gap between Manchester United and Coventry City is too wide. You do not allow Coventry City to come into the game like that. Yes, like you said in your synopsis, United went on to win the game all right, but I think that I would pin the problem on 2 faces to answer your question. One, I think that the manager cannot be absolved from any blame at what is happening to Manchester United at this material time. I have been a staunch defender of Erik Ten Hag. One of the issues that really has come back to haunt Erik Ten Hag has to be his game management. His ability to manage the game and then keep the team, get the team over the line. He's been suspect in the last few weeks. I've mentioned a catalogue of matches that Manchester United have played that Ten Hag has seemingly not managed the game well. 1, with his substitutions. 2, with some of the decisions that he has made. And then I will not absorb the players from any of this. I think that I'm happy that since I've told you in private and sometimes on this show, I think the last time we were on this show, I told you that I'm happy some of the things that are happening in the background. Listen, for any team to get successful, you need the structures in the background to work effectively. People do not know, but one of the reasons why Pep Guardiola has so much flourished at City has to be the influence of people like Soriano, people like Begrestein in the background. They insulate the manager from all of this headache that he needs to go through about which player to sign, about who fits the stereotype we are trying to build, about which player fits the temperament of the team that we are trying to build. You understand? So I am happy about the things that are happening in the background, and I am happy that Manchester United, a big club, which sadly has failed to evolve over the last few years, because, I mean, I do not want to sound you with bore with you with a lot of words, but the point is simple. When Ferguson was manager, his sidekick was the director of football then. Name does not readily come to mind, but I'll get it for you before the show ends. you look at the things that they were able to do together. The director of football then at Manchester United, you look at the signings that they made. So Ferguson in itself was a manager, he was a technical director, he was a sporting director, he was virtually all in one, you understand? And so when that partnership was broken up, and then successive managers had to come in from David Moyes up until Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Van Gaal to Jose Mourinho to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to Ryan Giggs. All of these managers who have come in, Ragnick has come in and not survived at Manchester United. The point has been simple. I think that the issue of a lack of structures in the background is what has hunted Manchester United from the back. But I mean, to end, I think that, listen, the players need to look at themselves in the mirror and take responsibility on some of the things that have happened under their watch. Listen, I've always held that notion that you can't tell me that Eric Ten Hag is a bad coach. You can't tell me that Louis van Gaal is a bad coach. You can't tell me that Jose Mourinho is a bad coach. You can't tell me that Van Gaal is a terrible manager. But you see, you look at some of these players, these are players who have been there under 5+ managers. They have thrown managers under the bus and they keep throwing managers under the bus. I think that if Manchester United wants to be successful going forward, there needs to be that cleanup in that dressing room this summer.
All right, guys. So if you're watching us live on Facebook, let us know your thoughts on Manchester United. Where do you think the problem is? Should we blame the manager? Should we blame the player? Should we blame the so-called lack of structure at the club? Where lies the problem with Manchester United? Because honestly speaking, if I were a United fan, in the last 2-3 seasons, I would not be excited about football because I look at this club and there's nothing really exciting about the club. They've been abysmal in Europe. They've been abysmal in the league. I mean, today literally probably is a culmination of United's atrocious season. If I can find words to to define what we saw this afternoon. I mean, Kofi made mention of the fact that Eric Ten Hag talks about lack of control, but you and I will, Kofi, you will agree with me that I'll come back to Percy, and Percy will also share his thought on what's happening with Manchester United. But you will agree that he's the manager. He had opportunity to assess the team from afar before he came in. When he came in, he spoke about lack of control. He's had time with the team. He's getting into his 3rd season with Manchester United. So you know you need players who can control game. Casemiro cannot run to save his life. He's in the last 2 seasons, he cannot run. And Kofi, you've seen it. It's so evident. He cannot run. You do not want to control games with somebody like Scott McTominay. Thank God a young chap in Manu comes up. But Manu is more of a 10. I watch him every day, and he gives me a Zinedine Zidane kind of player. He gives me a Modric kind of player. The guy who is more attacking-minded than somebody who controls the middle like a Rodri does, a Kovacic does, a progressor of a sort. So yes, great for Manu, but you went to sign Sabitzer. Is Sabitzer the guy who is going to control games for you?
No, but Sabitzer was signed on loan.
But still, you had the opportunity to come around the world and bring in somebody, even if it's a makeshift, or a stopgap opportunity. So for me, I think that Eric Ten Hag should take about 80% of the blame. I'll come to the players, but I watch United and there's no structure to United. For United to concede 18 shots to a Coventry side. Coventry. This is not City. This is not Arsenal. This is not Liverpool. Coventry City in the semi-final of an FA Cup. You go 3-0 up. And I think that Coventry were done by an atrocious, VAR decision. That's what I am subject to opinion, though. But I think that, that's what I'm saying. It's subject to opinion. But truth be told, this is Coventry City, a championship side that is not a Leicester, that is not an Ipswich, that is not Leeds. These are the 3 guys contending for the championship title. Coventry is somewhere languishing, either mid-table or even fighting for relegation. So we should not be seeing this. There was no structure to the United team. 18 shots. No, but, so for me, yes, you are a fan of Ten Hag. Yes. You adore Ten Hag. You believe he's still the man to get the job done. But time and time again, Ten Hag convinces me that this guy cannot handle United. I think that the United entity or the United job is too big for him. He's more suited for clubs like Ajax, clubs like Crystal Palace, clubs where there's no pressure, where you can play with kids, you know, and try to see if you can get the best of them. Yes, I mean, somebody like Rashford, I think he should better get serious. He's not a kid anymore. He's played under countless managers where I think that what Phil Foden is doing at City, what we are seeing Saka do at Arsenal, some point carry the team on his shoulders. He gives us one brilliant season. He gives us one, you can disagree, but he gives us one brilliant season. He gives us one brilliant season.
Certainly
then
not Saka.
Rashford goes.
You could probably mention a Palmer.
I mean, fine. I mean, Palmer. I mean, just one season.
But the name I was looking for was David Gill.
David Gill, great.
Yes,
I mean, let's not talk about Palmer. It's just one season. Let's wait. Can he be consistent? And sometimes in the midst of death, I mean, somebody can sign and you think he's all of that.
Just a quick one before you go, and I acknowledge the solid points you made about the manager and the fact that he has not really dealt with the dynamics of the team very well. But you know, this manager who has a philosophy,
which is,
and I think that. Yes, you can blame the manager, but you also need to look at the situation on the ground. The situation on the ground is that he's never had his first 11. All season.
That argument.
Well,
maybe Percy could address that when you finish on that point. Then I'll come to Percy.
You see, if you look at Manchester United, if you looked at Manchester United last season, there was a seeming structure about the team. Nobody can tell me that last season there was no structure about the team. I mean, because last season you could look at that midfield trio of Casemiro, you could look at Eriksen, and then you could look at Bruno Fernandes. You understand? There was a growing partnership, and then I think that one of the elements that United has sorely missed has to be the injury to that Argentine boy, Martinez. You understand? If you look at the defenders of Manchester United, ordinarily the first choice defensive partnership will be Martinez and Varane. And Martinez is somebody who can play from the back. You understand? Plays from the back, is able to link the defense and the midfield. But you look at Manchester United this season, I mean, and for me, I think that it speaks more to the woes that has overshadowed this once glorious club. That a team like Manchester United does not have a specialist left full back as we speak. It is atrocious. I mean, how do you blame the manager?
How do you
you had this guy coming from Spurs on loan, Reguilon, coming from Spurs on loan.
Let him go.
The medical team assured the manager that the two left fullbacks, I don't know what has happened to Malacia. I don't know. Somebody said he's dead. You understand? I don't know what has happened. The medical team assured the manager that he could let Reguilon go because Malacia and Luke Shaw were going to come back. This is Manchester United having to swap between playing Dalot and Wan-Bissaka at the left fullback. It is a problem for any big team.
Let me come back to Percy because Percy has not had his take. I mean, for a long while. I'm sure he has lots of things to say. But guys, keep streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube as well. So I'll try and intersperse between Facebook comments and YouTube comment. Let me take this one before I forget. This is from Ishmael GH. ManU is a cursed team. Kweku Mensah says Ten Hag is the best manager in the world. Elijah Penny says that Kofi, your Manchester United is not in good shape. I'm watching in Mauritania. Thank you guys for watching us from Mauritania. Lots of the Manchester United senior players need to be sold. That's another argument. So I will take all your comments on Facebook. Keep the comments coming. Make sure you share the link. And I'll get back to YouTube as well. Keep the super stickers coming, guys. Those watching us on YouTube. Percy, we've been talking about Manchester United. I do not want us to look at this game. No, as for this game today, we will not talk about it. United. Where is the problem? Kofi is trying to insulate the manager in a way where he even goes ahead to talk about the fact that he's had injury situations. There is no club in this world that has not had injury woes. Liverpool could complain, Arsenal could complain, City could complain. But even before the start of every season, managers know that injuries are part, and so they plan and ensure that, certain eventualities, when they occur, at least I'll try and what is it called? Try and organize things. I listened to an interview where Pep Guardiola asked, I don't know if Kofi, you've realized most of Pep Guardiola's signings, most of the players can play more than one position. And he was asked why, and he says that it's because he does not know what to expect during the season. And so he wants a player that can easily slot in when, let's say, an eventuality happens.
When Haaland is misfiring.
So you look at, you know, Vadio is not a left fullback.
Oh yes, he's not.
He's a proper centre back, and all throughout his time at City, he's not playing as a left centre back. He's played
as a left fullback.
As a left fullback. And so these are some of the things.
No, because you paid huge money for him, he needs to get into the team.
Managers plan ahead. Nathan Ake is not a left fullback. He's a left centre back. Players like there are countless players. He's tried to. Why won't Eric Ten Hag? Okay, yes, there will be injuries.
No, but you see,
let me go to Percy.
That's where I'm
Kofi, I'll come back to Percy.
Yeah.
What is wrong with United? I mean, Kofi is trying to insulate Ten Hag. But I think that Ten Hag should be bold enough to say, okay, the job is too big for me. I can't do this job.
It's okay. First of all, good evening to our listeners, viewers. Of course, Ten Hag has to go, but Ten Hag is not the problem. For that, we all know Ten Hag.
So he's not the problem.
He is
part of the problem.
He is just a small portion of it, of which he should be sacrificed for that, because with what he's doing, he has to go. But the hiring and firing of managers in United is not the remedy. But if I am talking about Ten Hag, Kofi made some fantastic points. And there was a point that Mourinho made. It was actually a subliminal to Ten Hag. He was in one of these interviews. And his take on players and their egos was that if you are a coach or a manager and you cannot manage big players, then you have no business managing a big club.
But that's true.
That's what he said,
That's true.
It's an inevitable fact. And you see, the first issue I think I had with him, I'm not downplaying a lot of the decisions he's made with the disciplinary actions he's taking.
Don't bring back Ronaldo.
Everybody knows
that. I am not talking about Ronaldo.
Okay.
I'm not talking about Ronaldo.
That's fine.
I am saying that I blame him for some of the things that he did. You see, managing a team like Ajax and managing a team like United are two different entities. That is an issue that coaches that became successful at Chelsea and those who failed at Chelsea, the same as United, they faced. And that is how to run a team that is a big entity, more than a production line. In Ajax, what is the pressure? In fact, Ajax have accepted that those times that they were a dynasty, that they were fighting with Bayern and the rest and winning a three-peat of Champions League, they might never get to that level again.
That's true.
Even the next time they won the Champions League, it was with teenagers and 20s, with the Seedorf and the Kanu and the rest. A 17-year-old actually scored the final goal. That is in the shape of Clivert.
So why are you driving at?
What I'm trying to say is that Ajax have their format to be that, okay, we are a team that we know, okay, we are an elite team, but we don't have that financial muscle. So we run it like an academy. We run it such that we become a production line, so that the other, should I say, wealthy and big clubs will actually come and purchase. So after the 18-19 season, we had Van de Beek going, you had Frankie de Jong leaving, Martins Delay, all the players were taken off. So for them, that system of trying to groom the players for the big clubs is there.
Okay.
When you come to a team like Manchester United, that is not, you are not coming to groom a player at Manchester United to be sold to which team? Because Manchester United sees themselves to be a level with anything you can think of. When he came into Manchester United, of course, he came with his principles, but he was trying to impose some things that might take a very long time, and he doesn't have a very long time to do that.
But let me rub in this point, and Kofi, probably before we conclude on this whole Manchester United thing, when Pep Guardiola walked into Barcelona, he said, yes, Ronaldo, you're a big boy. Hey, Ronaldinho, you're a big boy. But I think that your time is up. You know, let's walk away. He established that dominance. It's not just Pep. Most managers, and usually when you want to assert authority, you look at somebody who can destabilize your team. And he feels that, no, it's time to move Ronaldo on. There's nothing wrong with it.
Before Kofi comes in, like I said, I am not talking about Ronaldo. The Pep Guardiola issue you were talking about, Pep Guardiola did not come to change the system of Barcelona. It is different from what I'm talking about. Barcelona had a system. In fact, that identity was even lost under Rijkaard. Rijkaard never went with Barcelona system. It was all balls to Ronaldinho. Let him be the shining light of the team. In fact, post Cruyff, all the errors, that is from Bob Robson. Bobby Robson.
When Bob Robson was there,
Bobby Robson,
there was Ronaldo at the time. Before
I'm even talking about the coaches. Bobby Robson to Louis van Gaal coming twice.
Yeah.
And what do you call it?
Frank Rijkaard.
Rijkaard. When Bob Robson came, the system that Rijkaard was adapting was the same thing. When he brought Ronaldo in, that one season. Even before Ronaldo was Romario.
That's true.
So it was like one bright star. He takes the mantle. Ronaldo came, he takes the mantle. Figo came, he takes the mantle. Rivaldo came, he takes the mantle. So when Rijkaard also came, it was Ronaldinho. But when Guardiola came, he looked at, now if you are asked that in the Barca team that actually won a Champions League, mention 3 star players. You can't mention, apart from Ronald Koeman, you can't mention, he was even a defender. Because it was a unit. And Guardiola played in that unit. So he wanted to bring that system of, okay, we don't really have a star player. We might have Messi. But now, when you are mentioning the Barca dynasty of 08 to 11, you don't only mention Messi. You can mention about 5 players.
That's true.
So it is different.
At what point do you insulate? Are you blaming Ten Hag for trying to establish an identity as a manager?
Unfortunately, United's identity after Ferguson had been so downplayed for so many years. A lot of coaches have brought in too many different systems. When Van Gaal came, or before Van Gaal, of course, there was Moyes. When Moyes came, he could not replicate what Ferguson did. He muddied the waters. Van Gaal came and wanted to bring a system like a Cruyff system into United, which was not.
That's true.
He muddied it more. Then you had to bring in Mourinho, who also brought in a system that was alien to United.
Should Ten Hag be fired?
Now, of course, coaches are
why should he be fired?
One, because he's lost the dressing room. That's the first thing. Okay. I think he's lost it. I think the players are not playing for him.
Wow.
Kofi might have, but if you look at the players, it's like almost the same players played for him last season.
But the players themselves are not good enough.
If you are talking about,
apart from Kobe Menu, none of these players will start in
like
Manchester
I told you.
City.
You see, there are remnants,
especially I take away maybe Lisandro Martinez has not played in a long while, so let's insulate him. But the United 11,
there is no doubt that
maybe Bruno Fernandes, but none of them will start.
There is no doubt that the players are also not up to it. Like I told you, Ten Hag has done something for United that when he leaves, United will really, really enjoy the fruits of that. What he has done in bringing Kobe Menu, United will not understand now. See, what
is not something United have not seen before.
I am trying, but for a very long time, United were not getting prospects.
So you feel he should be fired?
It's not about I feel he should be fired. It's not about my feeling.
To be fired.
It's not like I want him.
He will be fired.
He knows he will be fired because he's lost it.
30 seconds. Should Ten Hag be fired and why? No. He shouldn't be fired. Why?
I know Kofi will say that.
Quickly. Let's wrap up on this Manchester United
thing. Ten
Hag
needs to be fired because I think that all throughout his stay at the club, and like Percy said initially, I think that this whole culture about sacking coaches and not keeping managers and insulating the players, allowing the players to misbehave, it ought to stop. I mean,
of course.
I think that all the managers that we mentioned after Ferguson have not had the luxury of working in a proper work environment. I say a proper work environment. I mean, we talk about the resurgence of Arsenal and Arteta. We talk about Klopp and the legacy he leaves behind Liverpool. We talk about City.
Their legacy. We talk about that.
I mean, people speak about it. You understand? I mean, you look at all of these dynamics and then you want to situate it and juxtapose it with the situation at Manchester United. I think that give the manager the opportunity to work with proper structures. I mean, we've seen guys being recruited from City, from Southampton, and all of these top people who make the work better in the background. We've seen them come into the club. Allow the manager one full season to work with those structures. And you see, just a quick one. What people fail to realize, and you talk about the fact that Pep Guardiola is able to buy players who can fit multiple positions, but when you get to a certain point, you are only attracted to A-listers. The point is that Manchester United at this material time are not on the same pedigree with City in terms of attractiveness to the A-listers.
So
you understand?
they should leave him, build a team when he gets to
build a proper structure.
Okay.
Give him the opportunity to justify himself, and then once he feels when the structures are seemingly in place, you should be able to fire him.
Anyway, I don't know how long that would keep. Probably United will go trophyless in the next 3, 4, 5 seasons. He's still there. But guys, what do you think? Should Ten Hag be fired? Let us know your comments in the comment section. I'll go to YouTube quickly and read some of the comments there. But make sure you keep the super stickers coming, those that are watching us from the diaspora. But I mean, in the conversation of managers, in the conversation of teams, one team that in the last 6 or 5, 6, 7 seasons have set the bar high in the Premier League is Manchester City, and as well in the Champions League, because in the last 5 seasons they've either made the semi-finals or they've made the finals. They've really been very present, and someone was telling me that gradually power is shifting in Europe, and we are likely, getting a dynasty in terms of a classical of European football in terms of matchup. It used to be Barcelona, Bayern Munich. At some point, it used to be Barcelona, AC Milan, Inter Milan. In terms of the Champions League, you have 2 big teams who go at each other, and the world will want to see that game no matter how many times we play. Remember the Barcelona-Arsenal thing? It used to be a concurrent thing until it started fizzling out.
What are you saying?
Barcelona.
I want to know what you are saying.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that it looks like, so since 2020, we had Manchester City take on Real Madrid.
You believe in the phenomenon of hot ball, cold ball.
Let me finish my synopsis. Oh, so you also agree in that thing?
Oh, I mean, come on.
Okay,
all of these games are fixed for commercial purposes.
So we have City, Real Madrid in 2020. Real Madrid eliminated City. City comes back, eliminates Real Madrid. Real Madrid faces City. Real Madrid eliminates City. City comes back, eliminates Real Madrid. And this year, Real Madrid have eliminated City.
I am happy that you sit here today.
Gradually, it looks like the game that everybody wants to watch is Manchester City. Let's look at.
I don't think anybody wants to watch City.
Manchester City, Real Madrid.
What happened to City?
Right now, it's arguably the biggest fixture in European football. Bayern is not attractive anymore.
What happened last season with City was a fiasco. A big fiasco.
What do you mean by a fiasco?
A big fiasco. They had an unreal season. City, the elements have settled, and this is their truest level.
Which is
what we are seeing today.
On the cups of them winning the Premier League.
Come on,
on the cups of them winning the FA Cup.
there are a series of theories that I would want to debunk, but I mean, not
anyway,
today. Subsequently, we have a lot of time ahead of
so
us.
So let's talk about the Champions League. Let's talk about Pep Guardiola. Let's talk about Manchester City. Let's talk about Real Madrid. So I want you to. There's a different angle I want Percy to look at, but I want you to focus on this angle. Do you think that people have speak extensive, oh, this is negative football, park the bus? If it was Chelsea, people would probably be ranting and raving, why would Chelsea do this? But Real Madrid comes to the Etihad and literally were camped in their own half, though they conceded lots of shots and all of that, but they ended up eventually qualifying. Do you think that it's all about winning, or how do you assess Ancelotti in that game?
Well, I don't know if I'm on camera, but wherever Zidane is, 21 gun salute to Zinedine Zidane. 21 gun salute to Zinedine Zidane. It proves that what he did, he's peerless.
How?
Back to back to back. The conversation prior to the Madrid game was about Pep Guardiola and this City team doing a back-to-back treble.
Yeah.
I sat back and I laughed. All of the people who hold the views that you've shared, that Ancelotti parked the bus, they are cowards, they are hypocrites, you understand? They do not understand the basic tenets of football. We do not play football because we want to entertain the people sitting behind the television. We play football because we want to get results. We play football because we want to win trophies. And we play football because coaches who are well versed in what they believe in are pragmatic.
Of course.
They are pragmatic. Only cowards like Pep Guardiola will keep the same system going even if it's not working. And I can tell you confidently that City crashed out of the Champions League because of Pep Guardiola.
How so?
And his nonchalant ability to retune his tactics. Listen, I told somebody that if that game had been played for 500 minutes, there was no way Real Madrid were going to lose a second goal. Because they had become so predictable, there was no element of unpredictability about City.
But don't you
there
also...
was nothing about City that sought to suggest that Pep Guardiola standing on the touchline would be able to change the dynamics. The theme of the game, the theme of, quick one. I mean, forget about it. I mean, these players train all week. They are professional footballers. They train all week to miss the chances they missed. I mean, I don't want to believe in that argument. You understand? Come on, I don't want to believe in that theory. But the point is simple. What Real Madrid did was intentional. And it was tactical. They knew that they could nullify the presence of Erling Haaland. I mean, in Rudiger and guess who? Nacho. Rudiger and Nacho, they knew that they could keep Haaland in their pocket.
Was even enough.
Exactly. So what they did was that they dared City to come at them. If you watch that game, the only City player not worthy of praise was Kevin De Bruyne. He was everywhere. He was literally trying to drag City over the line. Bernardo Silva was inefficient. Grealish played well for 50, 60 minutes. I think that even when he managed to get what's the name, the right fullback of Real Madrid, Caballero, yellow carded. He did not really take advantage of that situation. And then that Pep Guardiola makes changes. He brings that boy, that black boy.
But the presence of Duku actually created.
Come on. Listen.
It was Duku's fine play down the wings.
You and I are pundits. Yeah. Let's not be sentimental. Let's not speak the street language.
I like it when you go on this.
The point is that Duku is an ordinary player.
He's evergreen. He's unripe in my opinion.
No.
He's very young.
No,
he's just 22.
You know, we cannot speak ill of Anthony and City and praise Duku.
Oh, but Duku's output is better than Anthony.
I am saying
no, but
Can I land?
If you were if you try to engage, he will take you somewhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Make it look like you didn't hear.
I am saying that we cannot sit here.
That's just, by the way, happens on the show.
My friends call Anthony the spinning machine.
We
cannot sit here, speak ill of that spinning machine, and then praise Duku, and then tell the world that Duku is young. I mean, Duku is the same age as Anthony. You understand? And for me, if I look at footballers today, one, I look at your ability to make sound judgments in the final third. This is something that clearly Duku lacks.
Yes, he does.
He does lack it. And it's on Pep Guardiola. The point is simple. I think that people have disrespected Carlo Ancelotti for a long time, but Carlo Ancelotti is the manager's manager.
Of course.
He is a top-level coach, and the players look at him.
He's too underrated.
The players look at him on the touchline, and then they know that this is a man who is in charge. I mean, for all of the game, the 120 minutes at the Etihad, he never flipped.
He was so calm.
He stuck to his tactics. And for me, I watched that game. And yes, I do not want to talk about the frailties of Pep Guardiola and his City team. I think that they have become all too predictable. They have become weak. I mean, this City team is the weakest we've seen in the last 4 years. I don't want to talk about the frailties of Real City. I want to talk about the character of the Real Madrid boys.
I think that's where I actually wanted you to center on. And I've always said that great teams,
you do not tell me what to center on.
Great teams are a reflection of their managers. So, Carlito, for me, I dug my heart out to Carlo Ancelotti. Like you said, he's the manager's manager. And I look at him and I agree with you on everything you said in relation to Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti. A lot of people disrespect him because he doesn't speak your typical tactical language during. He doesn't speak your typical tactics during press conferences. You hardly hear him talk about how he's moving chess pieces here and there. But the guy gets the job done.
No, but the point is simple. I think that Real Madrid, they're a phenomenal team. They've managed to tear apart that team, rebuild it right before our eyes. And then, I dare say, if they add Mbappe to that mix, they are going to be unbeatable. Listen. You look at this Real Madrid team, I noticed something. In the 117th minute, I saw Jude Bellingham, charge down the goal area of City and then tell his friends that, come on, let's end this calvary. You understand? It told me everything about the strength in that Real Madrid team. I mean, these are people who are not just superstars; they work hard for the badge.
Wrap up and let me get to Percy. And there's
so
a lot
Real Madrid,
I want to ask.
For Real Madrid, I don't think the Real Madrid is about. I don't believe in that theory about park the bus. I think that it's down to work ethic.
What works for you at that particular
You would have to be pragmatic. You would have to be pragmatic because listen, you didn't think outside. Exactly, you're talking about the fact that not so many comes to the Etihad and survive. And Real Madrid had at the back of their minds. I mean, they were taught a harsh lesson last season. So they would have been foolish to go out there, open up, and expect City to come toe-to-toe with them.
You know, it looks like they were prepared for penalty shootout more than Manchester City.
That's the point.
And that's why I think I blame Pep. He thought, oh, we could go at them and beat these guys. He didn't really think about the excess.
So that's why I told you that City were eliminated because of Pep Guardiola.
I agree with you. Percy, I mean, he's brought in the narrative of Kylian Mbappe added to this Real Madrid team. They'll be box office. And I fear for Barcelona. What would happen in the La Liga? But Erling Haaland, he's had a lot of backlash this season because of his goal conversion, rate this season. I hold a total different opinion about saying this player is not good, this player is not good. And I feel that players should be marked by what they are expected to do. If Anthony is expected to do something and he fails to do, let's judge him based on the expectation and his role given. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland. That argument now cannot go because arguably they are the two biggest players at the moment. But let's shift from Kylian Mbappe and talk about Erling Haaland. Do you think he's being berated, unnecessarily? Or you think that there's a justification for why somebody has even gone ahead to say he's a League 2 player?
That's right.
One of the craziest, apart from hearing what Joaquin has said, someone could even say that this guy cannot start for Accra Hearts of Oak. Just I don't really hear that interview. Charles, at some point, Taylor said that he cannot start for
I think that you would have to situate the comment.
But anyway, let me switch to
because I mean, people like Kofi Abanga have done very well in that space.
I'll come back to you, Kofi. But Percy, let's stay on this. Yeah. Has he been berated? I mean, has he been unjustifiably? Because this guy's numbers in terms of his output, just even though this season he's not producing well, if you look at the games he's played and the goals he scored, he's played around 55 games in total. This guy is averaging 52 goals total. But yes, in total, we are talking about conversion rate. Somebody is talking about. I'm talking about across all competitions.
No, it can be 52.
No, I'm talking about across all competitions.
Last season.
There's a stat I saw somewhere.
No, it was last season.
Last season.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, his totality is what I want us to look at. Because listen, I feel personally he's being berated unjustifiably and that's what a lot of people have done to a player like Darwin Núñez. I think that they've been unjust.
We'll talk about Liverpool. You mentioned another name.
Talk about Erling Haaland.
First of all,
and why has he been unjustifiably berated?
First of all, it was a mistake to throw in the name of Mbappe when you were talking about Haaland. Never, ever, ever do that. Ever. It is not like comparing a Messi to a Ronaldo that you can say, okay, they are at par or they are close.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Mbappe, the only time we get to talk about Mbappe is when he plays in Champions League or World Cup. How many people watch the what do you call it, the French League One?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yet we throw this guy's name every year for the past 5 seasons. Now we only got what do you call it? This guy's name, Haaland, because of the what do you call it? He moving to City. And
Okay, so let me. These are his stats.
Okay.
These are his stats for this season. That's why I'm saying. I think it's a bit unfair.
Barcelona have scored one.
In the Champions League. So
Andreas Christensen.
for those interested in the El Clasico, Barca is leading by a goal to nil at the Santiago Bernabeu, goal scored by Andreas Christensen. So in the Champions League 2023-2024 season, this season, he's played 9 matches. He scored 6 goals. He's played 9 matches. He scored 6 goals. The statisticians are here. If you did the match, you're looking at a goal he's looking at a percentage of close to about 70 to 80%.
No problem. I just want to add a total number of goals.
In 2023 Champions League, in terms of 2023-2024 season, 11 matches, 12 goals. In the Premier League, he's played 26 matches, 20 goals.
So 11. So you have 6 plus 20.
26.
26 matches, 20 goals in the Champions League.
I'm not even talking about number of matches. League, he has 20.
He has 20 goals.
Champions League,
9 matches. Situated in context. 9 matches, 6 goals.
6 goals.
Now,
FA Cup.
So in the FA Cup, he's just actually played just 1 game.
How many
because
goals?
of his injuries. No, he's not scored.
So
So that's the FA Cup.
So overall, this season, he has 27.
In the EFL,
26.
in the EFL, he's played just 2 matches. He scored 1 goal.
So
overall,
27
28 goals.
28 goals.
28 goals out of 2 plus 26, 28 plus 28 plus 9. Do the math. 28 plus 9. That is 37. So 37 matches, 27 goals. That is. If this is not the mark of somebody who is a prolific striker, I don't know who is the definition of a prolific striker.
Let me continue. Listen, what I am trying to say, let me just be blunt.
Yeah, be blunt.
If you are talking about top elite strikers who have ever come for the past 10 years, he won't be in top 10.
Why do you say that?
I'll be mentioning. You can put him where you want to put him.
No, I asked why.
Because one, you are talking about a player and you talked about goals and like I was saying off air. If it is goals, then we'll throw in Chimo Immobile. If it is goals, we'll throw in what do you call it? Higuain. Alcázar will be in.
How many goals has Alcázar scored in his
coming.
entire career as a striker?
You know Immobile has won what you call the Capo Candidato on 2 different occasions.
That's why I never berate Immobile. That's why I never berate a guy like Lukaku.
So do you know I can say that Lukaku is a better striker than Haaland?
It's opinionated.
That one is opinionated.
Everything is opinionated.
Why is it opinionated?
You finish.
No, do you know the numbers Lukaku churns out?
Why do you say Erling Haaland is not
because
in the pantheon
for
of
us to give you
strikers in the last 10 years?
For us to give you that level. Do you know the reason why Benzema's name is mentioned about players like Aguero, Cavani, and even Ibrahimovic? It is because Benzema shows up when the spotlight is on, when the whole situation matters. Now, you are talking about Haaland, you are talking about number of goals. But if you are talking about this season, the very moment that striker, you were talking about City, how many shots did they play against, what do you call it, Real Madrid? How many shots? How many shots did he play on target? In fact, in the 2 legs, how many shots did he even have on target?
Does that matter?
Why are you saying that doesn't matter?
Because
now this is a striker who even misses way more chances than the goals that he scores
this season. Because his conversion rate for last season was, I mean, he broke literally every single conversion rate in the league.
What you have to understand is that Haaland is a great striker. No doubt.
So he's a great striker. Use the word, he's a great striker.
Of course.
So why doesn't he qualify to be in the pantheon of great strikers? When you have qualified him as a great striker.
Listen, I said elite. I didn't say great. I said in the pantheon of elite strikers. I won't put him there.
What's the difference between an elite striker and a great striker?
Now, for instance,
I I think it's just semantics.
It's not semantics.
It is.
Chelsea is a big club, but it's not an elite club.
How? It's semantics.
Chelsea is a big club. It is not an elite club. Why is it not an elite club? It is because of what the elite clubs have done over the years, the trophies they've won, and the impact they've made.
So stay on that tangent.
So if I'm
Why
staying on that
Erling Haaland
tangent,
not?
how many seasons has he made this impact in the Champions League or in the league? When Salah came to the Premier League, the first season, it was like Haaland. We thought it was a fluke.
Yeah.
The guy broke Ronaldo's record. Okay, let's give him the next season. Now this is his 8th season. And this guy averages over 20 league goals every season. So now if you're talking about the greatest forwards to ever grace the Premier League, you can put Salah there. I wouldn't even be in the should I be? I wouldn't be afraid to say that if you're talking about Liverpool's greatest players, top 3, he should be there.
Yeah. So you talk about how many goals does Erling Haaland have in the Champions League. So this is his Champions League record. In a total of 38 Champions League games, this guy has scored 41 goals.
41 Champions League goals. No.
He ranks, and according to UEFA, he actually ranks in the top 5 in terms of goal conversion rate all time. And this is
now,
factual.
What I am trying to tell
in the Champions League, goal conversion rate.
One of the
38 games,
one of the reasons why our era of watching football, it does not make talent so relevant or football playing so relevant is these statistics.
Why should it not?
No, let me explain to you. It's these statistics. If the way we deal with statistics was in the era of the 2000s and the 90s, Zidane would never even be close to a Ballon d'Or. Zidane, Ronaldinho, Figo, Rivaldo, none. The season that you had, what do you call it? Ronaldo Nazario de Lima winning the Ballon d'Or. You know who scored most goals in Europe? Mario Jardel.
That one, we know.
No, I'm not. That is probably, you can say that one is a one-off. So, I am trying to tell you that the reason why some strikers are really elevated, the bottom line is, 1 is consistency, 2 is when it matters. And Haaland has always, in fact, we all thought last season, at least he will give us a reason to push him for Ballon d'Or. But the funny thing is that by the time they go to the semi-final, quarter-final, Haaland was done. Tell me how many semi-final goals he has even in Champions League and quarter-finals.
Yeah, so this narrative you are trying to probably see where you want to land. The greatest striker that I have ever seen, Luis Nazario de Lima. He's never won the Champions League before. He's played for clubs like, at some point, when Inter were in the Champions League, he played for them. But he won the UEFA Cup with Inter Milan. He played for Real Madrid.
Watch him in the final and what he did in
He played for Real Madrid. Almighty Real Madrid. One of the greatest Champions League individual performances.
And you watch what he did to Manchester United at Old Trafford.
I'm coming. We've seen in the Champions League is that a hat-trick he scored for Real Madrid against Manchester, and those 3 goals scoring against Fabian Barthez. With all those exploits, he has never lifted a Champions League trophy. So if you go on the narrative or the tangent,
he
doesn't show up when it matters the most. Ronaldo has never won the Champions League before.
I know it's not about winning the Champions, it's about showing up. No, listen.
When you show up, something should.
No, listen. Ronaldo showed up against Manchester United.
Wrap up and let me come to Kofi.
He showed up against Manchester United in the Champions League quarterfinals at Old Trafford.
What did he do?
He scored a hat-trick.
What did he do? What did he lead to eventually?
No, listen, like I was telling you,
they were eliminated.
What I was talking about has nothing to do with the person winning trophies. I was talking about the striker being an elite because the striker shows up when it matters. You were talking about Ronaldo not being able to win the Champions League. And you talked about UEFA Cup final.
Yeah.
Go and watch UEFA Cup final.
I watched that game.
You watched that game?
Yes.
You watched it.
We are not talking about
I'm coming. You
UEFA
watched
Cup.
it. No, listen. I am talking about, I said, showing up when it matters.
Erling Haaland has never showed up when it matters.
When was, with all the trophies that City has won, from the quarterfinals to the finals, tell me which of the matches that Haaland showed up.
So how do you, Kofi, and I'll come back to you, and listeners, how do you define when it matters? Because let me give you a simple example. If in a quarterfinal game, I score 4 goals against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid scores 5 goals. So I lose 5-4.
You showed up.
I showed up.
Yes.
But eventually, I have lost.
But the striker is an elite striker because the striker showed
Now,
up.
in a final, I do not score. But whatever contribution,
What is the contribution?
in terms
You were
of
the
my
same
total
person, you were the
play,
same person
my
that
team
said that.
wins.
What
So how
was-
do you define
no,
showing up?
you were the same person that brought this argument, this narrative up that as a striker, what is your job? You said it.
You should score a goal.
So you are in the final, and all you did is to show the ball like Giroud.
But
He
you see-
comes into a World Cup, never scores a goal.
Kofi, before I come to you, we'll wrap up on this Haaland thing, and we'll probably give our listeners what's happening in the playoffs, just the scoreline. So this is Erling Haaland, and I'm looking at the numbers, and for me it's outrageous. So he's not playing the Champions League for long. You know that, right? And in his short stint with the Champions League, he's actually, according to UEFA, he is joint 17th in all-time Champions League scorers, having gone above the likes of Samuel Eto'o, Antoine Griezmann, the likes of Rooney, Rennie, the likes. He's on his level with somebody like Aguero, Alexandro Piero, and Neymar. His numbers at Dortmund. If you look at his numbers at Dortmund, he was averaging 2 goals per game. If you look at his first season with Manchester City, he was averaging 2 seasons per game. If you look at UEFA, they rank him as the best young talent in terms of players in the last 5 seasons as strikers for the Champions League. Now, I believe that, like I said, he's being berated unjustified because we saw, Karim Benzema. Let's be honest. At some point, people felt that he should leave Real Madrid because he was not the clinical finisher that people expected him to be. Am I lying? He was not so clinical, but he grew and grew and became part of a system that literally blew Europe away. He had a brilliant season with Manchester City, broke literally almost every goal scoring record there is to go. Even this season that supposedly is having a worse season, his goal per game ratio is outrageous. He has 20 league goals. He's crossed that 20 barrier, literally. Why then are we berating him?
Well, I think that, like I've always said, people watch football for different reasons, and you would have to probably come from where the people who are making those claims, you would have to look at their argument or their points from the context in which they see football. I believe that some people are purists, you understand? I mean, they've seen good players.
Like me.
You understand? They've seen good players, they've seen players who have come to the limelight and then, taking the world by storm.
Yeah.
You understand? We talk about the great Ronaldo, we talk about people like Karim Benzema, we talk about all the players of old. The point is simple. I think that Erling Haaland is a good player. He's a good goal scorer. You understand? But I believe that the argument is that does he excite you?
Nice.
For me, honestly, he doesn't excite me. He's not somebody I'll pay money to go watch.
That's true.
Because there's nothing extra about his game.
That's true.
I think that probably if you took away the goals from Erling Haaland, is there anything else to remain?
Is a fair Lukaku?
Well, fair, probably taller, lankier Lukaku, you understand? But the argument is simple. I think that the conversation is pretty much simple. And I wouldn't begrudge people for berating him because, you see, we've created an atmosphere where, like Percy spoke about eloquently, we've seen football in a certain perspective. And you see, I think that he's being berated because in the past, the argument has been that every player who has worked with Pep Guardiola has refined his skill. So Ibra King goes on live TV and says that this is a guy who looks like a League 2 player because, he cannot control the ball to save his life. He cannot do all the things that we expect of a Pep Guardiola player.
Striker.
I think that you cannot insulate that claim from the player.
Has it not just been? Is it not just too short? brilliant season.
No, let me ask you. Let me ask you a simple. Let me
season.
ask you a simple question. Ordinarily, how long do you think it would take for Pep Guardiola to transform a player?
So I watched Aguero in his first season. Literally, he was even at loggerheads with Pep Guardiola because Pep Guardiola felt
No,
that
Aguero was an establishment before Pep Guardiola
yes, you need
came
to.
in.
Pep Guardiola felt that you need to track back, add that, tracking back another part of your game and all of that.
No, like you don't.
Phil Foden, okay, let's go on Phil Foden. It's
don't
taking Phil Foden almost about 3 seasons for us to see all
deviate
this.
from the question that I asked you. I asked you a simple question. You said it's too short a time, and I'm asking you that ordinarily, how long will it take a manager to transform a player?
2 seasons is
so
okay.
after this season, we should expect
to see
a
certain level of improvement.
So after this season, we expect to see a better Erling Haaland in terms of his footballing ability.
That's me.
That's fine.
Anyway, guys, let me go to YouTube. So we have some super stickers from Christensen, Kojo Arthur. Thank you so much. And there's Yaklu also giving us some super stickers. We thank you so much.
Also equalized.
Okay, so I'm being told that Vinicius Jr. has equalized for Real Madrid. We are just almost 21 minutes into the game, and he scored by courtesy a penalty goal. So I mean, scoring penalty. I mean, every Manchester United are beating Coventry City on penalty games. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on the show. If you realize we are running concurrently on YouTube and on Facebook, this will be the new order, and we are trying to, refine everything about Sport 101 and give you the best of viewing and viewership. And we hope that you will be part of us from the get-go. So Facebook, when we are live on Facebook, make sure you share, you like our videos, you comment, as well as on YouTube. Thanks to the guys who joined us on YouTube and the super stickers and all those who commented. I cannot, be going back but I'll read your comments hopefully next week. I'll get all the comments, but we have something unique for you, coming very, very soon. But we appreciate you so much for joining us on the show. I did this with Kofi Asiedu and Percy Bonnie. Hopefully, we'll come back your way same time next week. We come back soon. With Sports Roundup every Sunday, 6 p.m. to 7. Thanks, guys.